Bitcoin is in a very strong bull market right now, but everywhere you seem to look, it is full of bears in disbelief of this rise. They are shorting every single move to the upside. So obsessed with taking those shorts, essentially missing out on the whole of the bull market. And for me, that is actually very sad to see these pretty easy gains to be missed by so many people. So I'm going to make this video answering the question, as I did in my last video for you all, is it time to short Bitcoin? My answer was well and truly no, it is not time. But today, here now, we are unable to break through $90,000. Clearly a strong resistance level. Are we finally get what many want and drop to that CME gap? As you can see, a large CME gap that we have on Bitcoin. Or are we simply looking for continuation towards $92,000 next? Well, we're not going to be going over the wants or what we think. We're going to be going over the facts, the evidence on the chart. We'll be taking a look at this very bullish order flow. We'll be lining up that order flow with, of course, the high probability trade setups to make an informed decision of the next best trade to be taking. I really think you're going to love this video, by the way, where we're going to be covering not only Bitcoin, but we're also going to be taking a look at some altcoins. And if you look at the altcoins today, look at this, red across the board, 5, 10, 15% drops to the downside. Is this a heads up for what's to come on Bitcoin? I want to say this though, of all that sea of red, there's one altcoin that's green. That is AGLD. And what is the coin that we have been long on Chart Champions? It was AGLD, actually timing the exact dollar low there for a 200% rise to the upside in less than 2 weeks. So this has been a very successful trade. Just goes to show when you know what you're doing, when you play along with the champs here at Chart Champions, CCT, we can absolutely show you the way to profits. Whether it's on the altcoins, 150, 140% rise here, it's actually over doubling the account there, or whether it's trading Bitcoin, the slow and steady gains that we make every single day. This is the pathway to profit. This is Chart Champions, and I will be helping you in this video for lining up the next massive trades. So let's bring it back. I want to start off by giving you the context behind this rise. It's been a relatively nice rise to the upside. And as you can see, if we just let's just delete analysis a second. We'll start it off with this swing failure pattern of the low, right? That was a low, that was a mini range. That is a swing failure pattern of the low, bringing us from 78 to $90,000. And if you watched carefully in my last video, that range low there that gave the SFP was the exact range that I gave you there at $78,000. You just had to remain a little bit patient, yes, but eventually we come down and we swing failure pattern the range low. And that is if you haven't seen the video, go back and watch it again, because that is the exact trade setup that we were waiting for, an SFP of the range low. Of course, then prior to that came into $80,000, which I did not short. Of course, I am also very bullish on Bitcoin, but nevertheless, from the technical perspectives, it was an interesting one because we hit 80,000, but we never took it out, of course, at the time. Now we have. At the time, we didn't take that out on Coinbase. Now I have a statistic on Bitcoin, but when that happens, we have over a 90% probability to get continuation. So it's that type of statistics that just help us realize not to take those shorts, but rather trade the trend and wait for the longs. And eventually, we did get a swing failure pattern of that low, right? We got the trade set up, and it was what we were waiting for. I gave you the exact trade set up in the morning. We needed to wait for the swing failure pattern of the low of that range. We got the swing failure pattern and we got that long trade setup. As I say here, you never want to FOMO into the highs. You want to wait for these retraces. And sometimes, yes, it does require a little bit of patience. But if you remain patient for the range low, you do not long the highs in FOMO, you did get a pretty perfect swing failure pattern for a long trade setup. And from that, as you all know, we went from 78 all the way up to now $90,000. So, plan the trade the plan. And then over the past few days, it's really been the same for me, as I just share a few different insights here that I've been posting in the Champions group. Long and chill. So this would have been back on the 10th of November. Long and chill. Don't know why so many want to short this bull market. Such a clear breakout of 47k. Bullish market structure, bullish divergences on pullbacks, new shorts opening. Just so many people, so many silly bears, better said, missing out on the easy ride of all-time highs. It really has been the case here. Same again, these are some of my swing long trades, but happily in my lower swing longs and also taking some aggressive long trades on the rise too. And this is some insights that I will share now. We'll go over this very quickly. But really, I see a lot of similarities on what's happening now on Bitcoin. To what I was seeing back in 2019 and then once again in 2020. 2019, if you remember this well, was when we actually dropped down to around $3,000. We formed a low range around 3,000. And at that time, there was at $3,000, there was no need to be extremely bullish. But as you break out of that range, it shows you that we have formed our bottoming pattern and we're then expecting at that point a large rise to the upside. So it's like you move down, you get that lower range of accumulation. As you break out of that range, accumulation's over, you look for the big rise. And during that big rise at the start of May 2019, I remember it very well. So many people couldn't accept that Bitcoin was bullish, that we had broken out. There was no reason to be bearish, but at that time, happens the same again, and it's a lot of people get bearish. They miss the whole rise to the upside during the next few months of 2019. Then the same again in November 2020 as we were breaking all-time highs. That was actually back in November, moving on to December 2020, and here we are in November 2024. 4 years later with the same similar pattern that we were at that point, we were starting to break out into all-time highs and people just unable to accept that it's bullish, it's breaking out, it's very strong, and they just continuously short. And so please, I really hope that you're not making the same mistake others have made time and time and time again. The bull market is strong. Relax, enjoy the rise. Stop trying to short every single breakout on Bitcoin. The time for shorts will come, but it is not now. Again, that was posted back on the 11th of November, so a few days ago now, but my case really has remained the same. We are having some opportunities of longs, and that is where we have been taking some longs over the past few days on these types of setups. So with that said, I think I've covered enough of what we were looking at here. I guess I'll cover this quick quick last setup that I gave to the champions on Bitcoin. And this just goes to show that there are opportunities inside of the bull market for pullbacks and longs. Here we were looking for a pullback once again, right? Remember when I shared this trade setup? Wait for the swing forward pattern of range low for the long. We had a very similar trade setup yesterday where I was waiting for the range low on the uptrend anchored VWAP. And that is what we got. So I planned the trade, gave that out in the daily morning update to the champions. Then I executed it. Okay, and again, you can see there's no delays here. As soon as we're getting, my entry, I'm updating the champions in the Discord. It was a very aggressive entry, yes, but given the day, the context, I will take it. I gave the stop loss invalidation just below 85k. The entry and, of course, the overall bigger target up at $92,782. But I do take my major take profit at $88,800, which, as you all know, hopefully has been hit because we did not get the continuation to the overall target, but we did get a move to the range high, coming back down towards range low. So essentially we remain range bound, but from entry, we hit the major take profit one, it's come back down to the range low, and we are just simply taking a little bit of a range here. But it just goes to show you that profits are being made right now inside of this market, whether it's on Bitcoin, whether it's on the altcoins, there's profits to extract. And one simple thing that I want to say here before I move on to what we're looking at next is actually in reference to this post. As you can see, still grinding away on these smaller accounts. So this account, $5,000, and it just goes to show you that you can sustain a full-time 9-to-5 wage, but with the freedom of not having to answer to anybody. Okay, so just small accounts. So this was the account that I traded for this trade setup that I shared to the champions. That was the trade setup that I shared. This was the profits that I made. So around $200 of profit on that trade. It's nothing massive, but it just goes to show you, right? It's very realistic. I think a lot of our viewers can achieve this. And so we are showing you what is possible with hard work. And I honestly believe this. In 2025, it is the year you will crush it, right? You are going to go into full-time trading and really love every second of your life. I'm here to inspire you, to motivate you, to teach you, to show you the ways, to show you what's possible on a small trading account every day, printing the profits, whether it's just the consistent smaller profits on Bitcoin or bringing out the big guns on the altcoins. Again, just a $3,000 position size. So with $3,000 in 2 weeks, that's $4,000 made, over doubling the account there on one trade in 2 weeks. You know, that's enough to sustain over, you know, the average pay now. I'm sure this is over average pay of many workers in the world. And when you combine the altcoin gains with the daily gains that we're printing on Bitcoin, you can see this is, you know, only $5,000. I mean, not to say that's not a lot, because I know for a lot of people it is, but nevertheless, with a relatively small account, you're able to produce some outstanding gains, and it's not even with high risk. I really believe this is low risk trading. We're trading extremely high probability trade setups. We're remaining patient for the best trades. We take the best trades. And have a look at that. We make a lot of profit off of them. If we start trading in FOMO, if we start going off of our wants, then we're going to start losing money. We're not trading personal biases. We're letting the chart show us how to trade, and we're making the profits off the back of it. So what are we looking at next then? As mentioned, right now we have a very simple range high, and I've actually said that we can adjust this range now to the overall pivot low and the overall pivot high, to be fair. Had a little bit of a third touch setup here, but now we continue ultimately, right, since this week, all right, Monday, Tuesday, and now here on Wednesday, still within the range. So we have that range low now moved and adjusted down to yesterday's low. So that's around, we can say, $85,000, and the range high, of course, at $90,000. And this is where I would say trade the range till it breaks, right? So you do have acceptable, and again, I think it's fair to say we are in a bull market right now. So when you say, you know, long or short, I'm always going to take a little bit of preference to the longs, simply because that's the trends, that's the market that we're in. They're a little bit of a better trade, you could say. But at the end of the day, if you are a skilled trader, there are acceptable short trades to be had there at $90,000. I did not take those shorts, by the way. I'm happily printing the profits on my longs. But nevertheless, I would say they're acceptable short trades. And again, you could have made some profits taking those shorts. It's just my style of trading here with the trends, trading with a little bit of a higher probability, and that is, you know, favored to the long side. But again, do as you would wish. If we are to break this channel high, then we can look towards that target there of $92,700, the final target up there at $98,000, right? If we are unable to break the channel high and that $90,000 is unable to be broken through, and we lose the range low with closes, then yes, that's when we can start to search down towards that large CME gap that I know a lot of people are eager to be hit. Fair enough, right? And then you can start to search down towards, yeah, that $81,000 daily naked point of controls. What you do have forming here is a little bit of a symmetrical triangle. Because this is an ever so slight lower high, I will just use this for emphasizing, okay, through the wicks. But you get the idea here. You have a little bit of a symmetrical triangle, really simply because this is a high, that's a lower high, that's obviously a low, and this is a higher low at the moment. So constricting price action. What does this, you know, how is this helpful for us? For one of two reasons. First of all, just recognizing that we are ultimately range bound. A lot of indecision up here, which is fair enough. $90,000, big psychological barrier. And of course, we're in a bull market to hold up the higher lows. But the second reason it's helpful is also, once again, for targets, because you can take from the low of the high of the triangle. And of course, you would move this to the breakout location. And you can see that depending on when we break out, that target, you know, if we are to break out, let's say today, then the target's going to be close to 90 $93,800, right? If we are to break out right now, then you can see that target would be, for example, 94,100. If it takes to the apex of the triangle, we could say it's closer to $93,000. So you move this to, when you break out. Okay, so when you break out, that's when you get the targets. And this is helpful for us to have that upper side target. But likewise, if we are to break to the downsides, I would not necessarily short this. But nevertheless, why would I not short this? Because you can absolutely do something like this. Looks like a fake out of the triangle. You hit the range low and you actually reverse off the range low. So that's where we would call a fake out of the triangle. So it's, I would use this more as targets, not shorting breakdown. So I just want to really make that clear. But you can actually see really nicely here that you would have some confluence again if we break out today. That target would be down at around $81,400. If it does go to the apex, you can see how that could be coming in at around $82,400. So again, you move this to when we actually get the breakdown or break up, right? That's a symmetrical triangle, the beauty of it. You can look for a 50-50. And I would not be trading the, the breakdown, but I would be looking for longs at the target. We have some wonderful confluence down there with the CME gap, with some daily naked pointed controls, and again, trading a overall bull market. That first major dip is a wonderful buying opportunity. If we are to first come up to higher targets, that does change the context greatly. So if we are to get a pullback, I would like to see that first before hitting our Elliott wave targets. Okay, so that for me is a key bit of information to be shared there. And then in terms of, we will take a look at the order flow as well. So this is really good at giving us heads up. Actually, before I do that, I will talk through AGLD really quickly. This is just to show you that this was a trade that I actually gave on live stream for the champions. You can see there submitting orders live on stream. This was back on the 17th of the 10th, so October, live on stream, taking that order, giving the analysis, explaining why I placed my order 0.96. So you can see all ahead of time. That order actually executed on the 1st of November. So you can see there's a little bit of patience required from the 17th to the 1st, almost 2 weeks to wait for 0.96. At the time we're trading there above $1. So you had to wait for a relatively large pullback, right? But over the course of the next few weeks, you can see we pulled back. This is on a daily chart here. So on the 17th, this is where I shared the trade setup. We had to wait, just under 2 weeks. But you can see how we nailed the low there. The absolute, this was the limit order. Anybody watching that stream knew my limit order. So every single champion member during an altcoin stream saw where I placed my limit order, 0.96. See what happened next? We pulled back. We hit 0.96 to the dollar. Look at that. Just look at this. The absolute low there. That is pinpoint accuracy. I'm sorry, but that is, this is where I get proud. That is, probably the world's best entry that you could have had prior to this massive pump to the upside. You can see there from our entry to the high, over 200% move. I do think it's fair to say that's a very nice move. But, this is all to do with our technical analysis. So as I can see, I lined up on that stream why we were looking for the pullback into the point of control, into our uptrend anchored VWAPs, into the CC Fibonacci level. We had several layers of confluence along with trading the trend. The key invalidation for me was the losing the higher low. So we went low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. I was looking for the pullback into that CC point of control anchored VWAP zone to continue up higher. And we did get that, right? We moved up. We even reclaimed the monthly here, which was wonderful to see. Reclaim the monthly, and after the reclaim of that monthly, another 100% pump to the upside. So, there's been plenty of opportunity on this coin. And it really, I just want to emphasize that it just goes to show, when you plan the trade, you got to trade the plan, no fear here, even with the limit orders. And, each step of the way, it's just been a simple case of when you're in the trade, just continue to let it run, let it run, let it run. Not to get fearful, not to get greedy, not to, have emotions overrun your decision making, but just recognize, Okay, weakness, recognize strength. And with that, we're going to look at the order flow here. So this is something that I've been telling my champion members over the past week of why I've been so happily bullish on Bitcoin. I've been very openly bullish about Bitcoin for a while now, but nevertheless, over the past week, even more so. And that is because the order flow of this rise simply has been bullish. You know, during our consolidation at around $76,000, we started to see, you know, this is where we started to see here a lot of the shorts, you know, getting a bit anxious and agitated. Here we started to see the 12 million shorts open. Here we had another 6 million shorts open. Here we can see 4.7 million shorts. Here another 2.1 million shorts. Look at this, 15 million shorts, 1.3 million shorts, 5.2 million shorts. So it's fair to say, right, here another 3.5 million shorts during this consolidation at around $76,000. These shorts were going absolutely wild. And that was, for me, the first sign of, wow, a lot of people are in disbelief right now. They really are unable to accept we've just broken out of all-time highs. And this actually reminds me really well of December 2020, because I remember super well, this is a funny story, but it was Christmas Day, or it might have been like Boxing Day. It was one of the really big Christmas days. And I remember super well, I had just got The Last of Us on PlayStation. And I remember with the family there, me playing The Last of Us and monitoring really well the Bitcoin chart. And just thinking, I was looking at the charts while playing my game. And I remember there are a lot of shorts opening right now. And I can just remember sat there thinking, yeah, we're going to get I can't remember if this was 2020, 2019, but anyway, nevertheless, you know, I just remember sat there thinking a lot of people are super bearish right now. And it was blowing my mind because we had just broken out of all-time high. We were trading around $24,000, if I remember correctly. And we started to enter, let's load it up on the chart, right? And we started to enter a little bit of a range. So let's find this a second. It would have been here in this section of the chart. Yeah, here we go, right here. Here we were, $23,000. So let's see the date that it was. You see 24th of December, this was it. This is, I remember. So it was Christmas Eve and we were in a little bit of a range. This is a several day range, right? We went sideways for 7 days. And I remember a lot of people getting really bearish here. And for me, it was mind-blowing because we had just broken out of all-time highs. We're trading at $24,000. This is really, really, really bullish. There's definitely no reason to be bearish. But I saw a lot of people bearish. And it was, for me, just one of those, felt very similar to what we're seeing now, right? You know, we started to consolidate sideways here at $76,000 instead of $24,000 4 years later. But it was the same feeling. A lot of people bearish, a lot of people wanting to short everything. And that's where I just, you know, go on, give that. Like I say here, you know, it is really, honestly, experience trumps everything else. Once you've experienced so many, again, I've been trading crypto now since 2018. Well, I was looking at it 2017, right? But I was trading the stock market before that. Have over a decade of experience. So whether it's the stock market, whether it's the cryptocurrency market, you know, I've traded several lots of different bull and bear markets. And I think through that experience is where you can really gain these little bit of insights, pull on prior experiences. And, you know, if this is your first bull market or even your second, you know, you're not going to be able to, you know, read correctly the market. And I think this is normal, right? Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody needs to make mistakes to gain that experience. And so if you have, unfortunately, missed this bull market, if you have been shorting too much, if you've not longed enough of the dips, if you've took too much profits too quickly, right? This is all learning experiences. Take those losses, not as pain, but as a lesson. And, you know, make sure you don't repeat the same mistakes. And if you are finding yourself repeating mistakes, journal, you know, make sure you're journaling all your trades, running your statistics, maybe even have little notepads on your screen to remind you of previous mistakes to not make them again. Because if you do that, and if you do learn, if you do strive, you do move forwards, like I was telling my team, right? 2025 is the year you're all going to crush it. We have massive opportunity, massive profits in front of us. Okay, with small accounts, you can make the gains, you can go full-time trading, you can love every second of your life. Trading is, for me anyway, right? It's my passion, it's my love. I truly enjoy and love every second of what I do. And that is, down to just the joy of the game, right? So you got to enjoy what you're doing, but you also want to be good at what you're doing, right? And that doesn't come straight away. When I started trading, was I a good trader? No. I had to go through the lessons. I had to take the losses, and I come out the other end and done very well in trading. I've made multi-million dollars of profits, and that's why now I can, take a little bit of fun in the game. I don't care whether I'm making $200 or $2 million. For me, it's a number. It's not going to change me in any way, shape, or form now. So I'm keeping these accounts realistic, showing you what's possible, and just having a great lot of fun while doing it too. And I want you to be on that same path. I want you to have that same fun, enjoyment, and to get there, you are going to have to put in the time, study hard, put in the work, but get the results at the end of it. Make sure 2025 is your year for that. But nevertheless, where I was going, that area consolidation felt very similar to 2020. All those shorts opening for me was mind-blowing. And then once again, what was lovely, as we broke out of that consolidation, we had the big open interest increases of longs. So we had 50 million longs here, 34 million longs here, 21 million longs here, 8.4 million longs here, 37 million longs here, another 100 million longs, right? It was very strong. There's no reason to be fading this move, another 92 million longs. You don't want to be fading such a strong, impulsive move after the breakout of the range where we started to see a lot of shorts opening. So it's that reading the context, it's reading the order flow that's giving you the high probabilities, that's giving you those good trade setups. So yeah, really for me now on Bitcoin, what I would be saying is, of course, highest probability would be continuation to the upside. It doesn't mean you just want to randomly long now. We had a long trade set up yesterday, hit take profit one, lovely. What I'll be looking for next is the break of the triangle or the sideways range, to be fair. If we break and lose the range low, I'll be looking towards that CME gap for my next long trade. If we break the range high, I'll be looking towards the Elliott wave target number one, and then Elliott wave target number two. If you actually want to know how I've got those Elliott wave targets, I covered that in a champions live stream on the website, where I went through a high term time frame viewpoint, swing trades, and of course the Elliott wave count. So if you want to see that count from start to finish of how I got those targets, chartchampions.com, the place to be right now. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope it's made sense, and you'll see me next on YouTube next week. The rest of this week I'm going to be busy in the champions, giving some epic trade updates. Let's just say that. Hope you've enjoyed. Thank you ever so much. Have a good day. And if you've enjoyed this video, smash that like button. Cheers, everybody. And last thing to mention is there is a live stream tonight on YouTube, 8 p.m. tonight. Mark it in your calendars. Don't miss it. 8 p.m. tonight. There's a power hour live stream. We have some live trading. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. And this is for the special of November, just so you can see here on the public some special videos, which are normally members only videos, here for you for free. So I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you enjoyed that too. Cheers, everybody. Thank you. And I will see you soon. Bye.